Forgetting everything you thought you knew about the Middle East is a good start. The old rivalries that have defined the region for decades, they're being swept aside by a new, powerful partnership. A pact between Saudi Arabia and Turkey is quietly redrawing the entire map of power. We're going to break down how this alliance isn't just challenging Iran's dominance, but is set to reshape the political and military landscape for a generation to come. For decades, the Middle East has been a chessboard for global superpowers, a place of rigid blocks and endless proxy wars. But things are changing. As the United States turns its attention elsewhere, a massive power vacuum has opened up, leaving regional players to fend for themselves. The result has been a volatile and dangerously unpredictable environment. At the heart of this instability were the broken relationships between the region's own heavyweights. Until very recently, Turkey and Saudi Arabia were stuck in a bitter rivalry. They had competing visions for the Middle East, clashed over political Islam, and the 2018 murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi in Istanbul created a rift that seemed impossible to repair. This division completely paralyzed any chance of a united Sunni front, leaving the door wide open for Iran to expand its influence. From Iraq to Syria and all the way down to Yemen, the old order wasn't just failing. For both Ankara and Riyadh, the cost was becoming way too high. So, what flipped the switch? The answer is simple but powerful: pragmatism. By 2022, the game had changed. Turkey was grappling with a severe economic crisis and desperately needed foreign investment and stable trading partners. President Erdogan realized that mending fences with the wealthy Gulf states wasn't just an option, it was a lifeline. For Saudi Arabia, under the ambitious leadership of Mohammed bin Salman, the motivation was different but just as strong. The kingdom's massive Vision 2030 plan needed regional stability to even have a chance of success. Riyadh was getting nervous about its security dependence on the West and wanted to build a more flexible, multi-aligned foreign policy. Facing an aggressive Iran, both nations finally realized they had a lot more to gain by working together than by standing apart. This led to high-level meetings that were unthinkable earlier. In April 2022, President Erdogan traveled to Saudi Arabia. In June, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman visited Ankara, where the two leaders announced their new era of cooperation. Just like that, the ice was broken, and what came next wasn't just a photo op, it was the careful construction of a brand new strategic partnership. This deal has tied their defense industries together for the long haul: drones, dollars, power. The most visible symbol of this cooperation is literally in the sky. In July 2023, Saudi Arabia signed a massive deal to buy Turkish Bayraktar Akinci drones. The manufacturer called it the biggest defense export contract in Turkish history. The agreement includes plans for local production inside Saudi Arabia, meaning technology transfer and joint manufacturing. It's a classic win-win. Turkey locks in a huge long-term contract, cementing its status as a top-tier defense exporter. Saudi Arabia gets its hands on battle-proven technology while building up its own defense industry, a key goal of Vision 2030. And the shopping spree might not end there. Word is, discussions are advanced for Saudi Arabia to buy Turkey's Can stealth fighter, the Khan. While nothing is signed yet, Turkish President Erdogan has said a deal could be finalized at any moment, with some reports suggesting an order of 50 to 100 jets. A move like that would cement this partnership, giving both nations overlapping military capabilities and making them far less reliant on Western suppliers. This alignment is propped up by a booming economic relationship. Billions in Saudi deposits have helped stabilize Turkey's central bank. Bilateral trade is hitting around $8 billion in 2025. This economic glue keeps the whole partnership steady through turbulent waters. Let's be clear though, this is not a seamless alliance. It's a transactional partnership, and its real strength will be tested in the region's messiest conflicts. The ultimate litmus test is Syria. Here, their interests are a tangled mess of shared goals and historical disagreement. Both want to stop Iran from dominating a post-conflict Syria. They learned a hard lesson from Iraq, where their absence let Tehran build a deep and powerful network. The problem is, they have completely different playbooks. Whether they can coordinate will show how strong this relationship really is. In Yemen and the Horn of Africa, both Ankara and Riyadh have major interests. They both say they want to preserve the integrity of countries like Somalia and Yemen, but their actions on the ground don't always match up. This isn't an Islamic NATO, it's a partnership of convenience. Both sides are willing to look past certain differences to achieve bigger goals, namely containing Iran and balancing out Israel's influence. So, what does all this actually mean for the map of power? The rise of a strong Saudi-Turkish axis fundamentally changes the regional balance. For years, the Middle East was defined by a Cold War between the Saudi-led bloc and Iran's axis of resistance. This new alignment creates a powerful third pole, a Sunni partnership with serious military, economic, and diplomatic muscle. The goal here isn't to overthrow Iran in a direct war. It's about creating a new equilibrium, a way to contain Tehran's influence. It's a clear signal that the days of uncontested Iranian expansion are over. More broadly, this is a story of middle powers finally stepping up. Both Turkey and Saudi Arabia are filling the void left by a retreating America. They're building a more multipolar Middle East, where regional players have more power to shape their own destinies. This alliance gives them leverage when dealing with the US, Russia, and China, playing superpowers against each other for benefit. The map of power in the Middle East is definitely being redrawn, but it's not being replaced with simple new lines. Old, rigid blocks are dissolving, and a more fluid, complex landscape of shifting alliances is taking their place. This isn't an alliance born from a shared ideology. It's a pragmatic relationship forged in the fire of shared interests and common threats. It's transactional, it has its limits, and it's going to face some serious tests. But its existence has already changed the strategic math for every other power in the region. The story of the 21st century Middle East won't be written by one single superpower. It will be the story of this complex dance. The question isn't who will dominate the region anymore. It's how these new powers will learn to share it. So, what's your take? Is this new alliance built to last? Or is it just a matter of time before old rivalries flare up again? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy these deep dives into our changing world, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching.